Have you ever stopped to think about who makes the decisions for your local school, or the hospital down the street, or even the market you shop at? Well, today we're diving deep into something called devolution. It's a really powerful idea that brings government decision-making way, way closer to home, and it affects your daily life more than you probably think.
But to really wrap our heads around this, we've got to start with a really big question. Where does a government's power actually come from? I mean, is it just something a few people at the top have? Or does it start somewhere else completely?
Well, that source has a name. It's called sovereign power. Just think of it as the ultimate authority in a country. You know, the power to make laws, go to war, collect taxes, the whole shebang. But here's the kicker. In a country like Kenya, that power doesn't belong to a president or to parliament. It actually belongs to the people. And if the people hold the power, well, then they get to decide how it's shared.
Okay, so if the power belongs to the people, how do they share it? That brings us to this idea of decentralization. It's the how behind the power sharing. In simple terms, decentralization is just the process of taking power from one central spot and spreading it out. The whole point is to empower local communities to manage their own business and provide services better, because, let's face it, they know what they need better than anyone else, right?
Now, it's super important to get this. Decentralization isn't just an on or off switch. It's more like a spectrum. It can range from really weak forms, where the central government still calls most of the shots, all the way to really strong forms, where local communities have a ton of independence.
Let's break down that spectrum. On the weakest end, you've got something called decentralization. This is basically the central government just setting up branch offices in other parts of the country. Then, in the middle, you have delegation. This is where power gets handed over to groups that are kind of independent, but they still have to answer to the national government. And then you have the strongest form, the one we're focused on, devolution. This is a nearly total transfer of power. It's what lets local citizens elect their own leaders and make their own decisions.
So, if you boil it all down, it comes to this. Devolution is all about one thing: closing the gap between you and the people making the big decisions that impact your life.
All right, so that's the theory. It sounds good, right? But what does it actually look like when you put it into practice? Let's zoom in on the model they're using in Kenya. You see, Kenya's 2010 constitution had some really specific goals for devolution. This wasn't just about shuffling papers around. It was about making power more democratic, giving people a real say in how they're governed, and, this is a big one, making sure the country's resources are shared out more fairly. So how'd they do it? Well, they created 47 brand new county governments, each one written right into the Constitution with its own set of powers and responsibilities. So what is it that makes Kenya's version of devolution so different? Let's dig into a couple of the features that really make it stand out. First off, it created two very clear levels of government, the national level and the county level. And here's the thing, they're distinct. It's not a boss-employee relationship where one tells the other what to do. They're designed to be partners. They have to cooperate and talk to each other to make things happen. And to make sure those county governments have the fuel to actually run, the Constitution has this crucial rule. At least 15% of all the money the national government collects has to be shared among them. And that's not a suggestion. It's a constitutional guarantee. It ensures they have the cash to actually deliver services and build projects for their people. But, like any huge change in how a country is run, devolution isn't some magic wand. It comes with a whole lot of promise, but also some real risks. On the one hand, the potential upside is massive. We're talking more jobs, better services, finally developing areas that were ignored for years, and a fairer slice of the pie for everyone. But there's another side to that coin. The risks are also pretty serious. You could see a rise in local corruption, it could strain national unity if it's not handled carefully, or even lead to crazy high taxes from local governments. It's a real balancing act. And that really brings us to the most important point of all. At the end of the day, devolution isn't automatically good or bad. It's a tool, a very powerful tool, designed to give people more control over their own lives. But just like any tool, its impact, whether it builds things up or tears them down, depends entirely on who's using it and how. So the real question isn't whether devolution works. The question is, how do we make it work for us?